This is how a $500 car payment quietly steals $400,000 from your future, and today I'm giving you the exact playbook to make sure it never touches yours again. $400,000. That's the number that changes everything, and almost nobody realizes it's happening to them until it's way too late. Let me tell you where I started so you know this isn't theory. My first car was an $800 Toyota with a cracked windshield and a driver's door that only opened from the outside. A few years later, I paid $3,000 cash for a Civic that got me through my mid-20s while I was building things up. Today I drive something nicer, paid in cash. And I've never once had a car payment in my adult life. Not one. And that single decision, repeated over and over, is worth more to my net worth than almost anything else I've ever done financially. Here's why this number matters so much. The average new car payment in this country is sitting around $700 a month right now, over 6 years. That's not a car, that's a second rent payment with wheels. And here's what it actually buys you. It doesn't buy you freedom, it doesn't buy you options, it buys you a depreciating asset that's worth less the moment you drive it off the lot, financed at interest, while the payment locks up cash flow you could be using to actually build something. I'm not saying a decent car is worthless, you need reliable transportation, that's real. But the payment itself, the debt structure, that's the trap, and it's not even close to a good deal once you actually look at the math. Here's the urgency piece. Every year you're stuck in a car payment is a year that money isn't compounding for you instead of against you. But I don't care if you're 3 years into a 72-month loan right now, or you're about to walk onto a lot this weekend. This works no matter where you're starting from, and there's no shame in a payment you already have. Most people didn't know the math when they signed. Now you do. Today, 6 steps. No fluff. No just buy a cheaper car nonsense that doesn't actually explain anything. Real numbers. Real moves. The stuff that actually gets you out and keeps you out. Before we start, comment your current car payment below, or 0 if you're already out. No judgment at all, I just want you to see it in writing, because most people carrying one have never actually said the number out loud. Step 1. Understand what the payment is actually costing you. In total, not monthly. Everybody looks at a car payment as a monthly number because that's the number the dealer wants you looking at. $700 a month sounds manageable. Now multiply that by 72 months, that's over $50,000 for a car that's worth maybe $18,000 by the time you're done paying for it. That's the real number, and it's the one nobody shows you at the dealership. Before you do anything else, pull out your current loan or the one you're considering and calculate total payments over the full term. Then compare that to what the car will actually be worth when you're done. That gap is what the trap costs you. For most people, it's shocking the first time they actually run it. Step 2, if you're already in a payment. Stop the bleeding by refinancing before you do anything drastic. Before you sell the car or make any big move, check if you can refinance the existing loan at a better rate, especially if your credit's improved since you signed. I did this for a family member a while back, knocked their rate down from around 9% to just under 5%. Save them roughly $60 a month without changing a single thing about their life. Takes maybe 30 minutes online through a credit union, no dealership involved at all. This isn't the whole fix, but it slows the leak while you work on the real solution, and there's genuinely no reason not to do it if you haven't checked in the last year. Step 3. Get to a break-even trade or a cash sale, even if it stings. Here's where people get stuck emotionally. They're underwater on the loan, meaning they owe more than the car's worth, and the idea of selling at a loss feels like defeat. It's not defeat, it's surgery. I've watched people ride out a bad loan for years, paying interest on a hole that just gets deeper, when they could have eaten a one-time loss of $2,000 or $3,000 and been done with it completely. Run the numbers both ways, total remaining payments plus interest versus a one-time hit to close the gap now, and almost every time closing it now wins. This step can hurt for a month. Riding the loan out hurts for years. Step 4. Buy the ugly, reliable car on purpose, and mean it. This is the step people resist the hardest because it feels like a step backward. It's not. I drove that $3,000 Civic for 4 straight years, paid outright, nothing pretty about it, and it was one of the best financial decisions of my life. because it completely removed a $500 to $700 monthly obligation from my life while I was building real savings. You're looking for something in the $8,000 to $12,000 range, paid in cash, from a reliable, boring, unsexy brand with a track record. Japanese sedans and small SUVs from the last decade are usually your best bet, not because they're exciting, but because parts are cheap and they run forever with basic maintenance. This is temporary in the sense that you won't drive this exact car forever, but the habit of paying cash for cars, that part's not temporary. That part sticks for life if you let it. Quick aside here, because this is exactly where people get tempted by a shortcut. Somebody's going to tell you that leasing is the smart move because the payment's lower. It's not smart, it's just deferred because you never own anything and you're back at a dealership every 3 years starting the whole cycle over. And somebody else is going to tell you the answer is a side hustle flipping cars for profit. That's a real skill for maybe 1% of people who actually know mechanics and auction pricing, and for everyone else, it's just a way to lose money slower than gambling. Skip both. The boring cash car is the actual answer, every time. Step 5. Build a sinking fund so you never finance a car again for the rest of your life. Once you're out from under a payment, the real win is never going back in. Take that same $500, $600, $700 a month you used to send to a lender and send it to yourself instead, into a separate account you don't touch for anything else. I call mine a car fund, and it exists purely so that the next time a vehicle needs replacing, I'm paying cash again, not signing another loan. Do this consistently, and within 3 or 4 years you've got another car sitting in an account in cash, and you never touch an auto loan for the rest of your life. This is the step that actually breaks the cycle permanently instead of just escaping it once. I want to mention this once because a few of you dealing with an underwater loan or a genuinely messy situation are going to need more than a general video can give you. That's the kind of specific, look at your actual numbers work I do one-on-one with people. Links below if you want to apply and see if it's a fit. Most of you watching don't need that. This video gets you there on your own, just leaving the door open for the ones who do. Step 6, and this is the hardest one by far, resist the upgrade the second you have real money again. Here's what happens to almost everyone once they've built up some savings and their credit score climbs back up from paying everything off. A dealership starts calling them a pre-qualified buyer. The temptation to trade the ugly reliable car in for something nicer hits right when it should feel like victory, and it's disguised as a reward instead of exactly the trap you just escaped. I've stayed in cars way longer than felt exciting, specifically because I understood that the moment I signed another payment, every bit of progress I'd made evaporated back into someone else's profit margin. This isn't about driving something embarrassing forever, it's about earning the upgrade in cash, on your own terms, instead of financing your way back into the exact hole you just climbed out of. That discipline is harder here than anywhere else in this whole plan, because now you've got the money to make the mistake again, and nobody's going to stop you but you. So if you remember nothing else, know your real total cost, refinance to stop the bleeding, get to break even and get out. Buy the boring, reliable car in cash, build a sinking fund so you never finance again, and resist the upgrade once the money actually starts showing up. Here's the big picture on why this is worth the discomfort. Take that $700 payment you're not sending to a lender anymore and put it into a basic low-cost index fund instead for the next 20 years at a reasonable average return. That's not car money anymore. That's a genuinely life-changing 6-figure number, built entirely from a decision you made about what to drive, not from some special skill or lucky break. One more thing before you go. Somebody's going to watch this whole video and then walk onto a lot this weekend and lease something anyway because the payment feels lower and easier right now. It's not easier. It's the same trap with better lighting, and you already know that. I won't pretend this is painless. Selling a car at a loss stings. Driving something ugly while your friends post pictures of something shiny stings worse some days, and staying disciplined once you've actually got money again is the hardest part of the whole thing. But you can absolutely do this. I want to see you keep your money instead of handing it to a lender for the rest of your life. We'll see you in the next one.